Okay, today we are working on starting 9-2 area of circles. So we're going to do part of it today and part of it tomorrow. All right. So we have a circle. Remember that if we want to find the area of a circle, we want to find all of this stuff inside of the blue. That's what area is. All right. The hard thing about circles is circles are not our normal shapes, like triangles or rectangles. So what we do is we try and turn this into a shape we know. Okay. This is at the top of 364 if you want to look at it also in your book, or you can just look here. So what I'm going to do is cut up my circle so that it resembles a rectangle, because we know how to find the area of rectangles. Okay. All right, so the first thing I do, you can't see it because I am not skilled enough to cut under the camera. I cut my circle in half, and now I'm going to cut it in half again so that I have 4 pieces of my circle. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my circle like this, okay, to try and make a rectangle. We're starting to look like a rectangle, but it's pretty curvy. So let's try and cut these pieces up again and see if that helps. Okay, I'm going to stop really quick. So if I were to have this be a circle here, this is the middle of my circle. What is this edge of this triangle going to represent? Okay. I'm actually going to write it on here. It's going to represent a radius. Okay. So I want you to remember that as we continue working. Okay, the edge of this triangle is going to be the radius. They're not quite triangles, they're kind of, okay. I'll put that one right there so you can see it. So now my new rectangle that has more pieces than I have room on my paper. There we go. Okay. Does it look more like a rectangle now? Yeah, I'd say it looks better than it did. So what do you think if I cut all the pieces in half again? It would start to get flatter and flatter. Okay, we're gonna stop right here. And using this, I'm gonna scooch it up a little. Okay. We are going to find on our own the equation for area of a rectangle. Okay, so area of a circle. So usually area we note with a big A. Okay, area is usually length times width. As we get smaller and smaller, these triangles are going to get more upright. So what would this side here represent? Or look, this side right here, we wrote it. That's a radius. Okay, so we're going to have a radius times this here. Okay. This right here is going to be represented by whatever this is. So let's take these 4 triangles. We'll take 4 triangles. Let's put them together and see what that curved spot actually represents. Okay. That curved side represented half of our circle. What is the outside of a circle called? That's our circumference. So this right here, that side of our rectangle, would be half of a circumference. We want a circumference with an R, so that was 2 pi r. Okay. So now, let's see if we can get rid of anything. We'll multiply this. All right. See if we can get rid of anything to find our equation for area of a circle. So if we have a 1/2 times a 2, We have this in the top and the bottom, so those cancel. Okay, so now we have left a pi and an r times an r. Okay. What is pi times r times r? We could say it's pi r squared. And this right here is the equation. Let's get a fun pen right here. This is the area of a circle. Okay, super important. This is going to be your equation of the next 2 days. Okay, so area equals pi r squared. So we're going to do 2 problems using this equation, and then today you're going to do a bunch of practice just using this equation over and over again. Right? So example 1 says find the area of each circle to the nearest tenth. Use 3.14 for pi. Right? I'm just going to say find the area of each circle. I'm going to get rid of this to the nearest tenth. We can worry about that tomorrow. Let's just find the area of our circles. Okay? We can use 3.14 for pi. I'll leave my equation up there so we can see it still. So I have 2 problems for you. And you know what? Let's just cover this one up so then we aren't confused. Right here, we have this distance, which is a radius. So we know that our radius equals 3 meters. Okay. So now that's all we need to plug into our area formula. So we have pi, we're going to use 3.14 times our radius squared. So now we just plug this into our calculators. All right. I'll show it on my calculator. So there's 2 ways we can write it. Remember that this 3 squared is just 3 times 3. So we could say 3.14 times 3 times 3. And our area would be 28.26. Okay. If you have a fancy calculator or one that does squareds, you could do 3.14 times 3 squared, and you get the same answer. Okay, the last thing that's important is we need our units. Our units were meters. When we do area, because of this squared here, we are going to make this meters right here squared. So area is always going to be in squared units. Okay, so that's all you do. It seems a little confusing, but it's actually pretty easy because we just take our number and plug it into the formula. All right. What if I have, instead of a radius, I have a diameter? Well, this equation doesn't have a diameter in it. We need a radius, so we're going to need to find one. Okay. So if our diameter equals 8, what would our radius be? Well, our radius is going to be half of our diameter, which is 4. So our radius is going to be 4 inches, or we could take our diameter and divide it by 2 to get our radius. Now we can plug it into our area formula. So actually I'm going to write right here. Okay. Instead of pi, it's having us put in 3.14, so why not just make it one of our formulas? 3.14 times our radius squared. Okay, now we need our calculator again. So I have 3.14 times 4, or remember I can put it in the other way with a squared. Okay. Because I am using 3.14, we should probably put the approximation symbol. Remember, it's the little squiggles, which means over here I'll squiggle it also. Now we need our units, which were inches. And because it's area, we need to add a squared, and we're done. Okay. So your homework for today is going to be practicing on IXL how to use the area of a circle formula. On there, it's going to tell you to use 3.14 for pi, so you could just use this equation. All right? Okay, if you have any questions, please reach out to Mrs. Sester or Mrs. Lynn, and we'll be happy to help you. Have a great day.